I don't know how many people know this, but there is this MLMer midwife. So an MLM midwife, I'm not really sure how else to say it. I'm not gonna mention her name. And if any of you guys watching this video can make the connection of who it is, I ask that you do not harass her, that you do not bully her. However, for me as someone who has trained in aromatherapy and has looked at safety and whatnot, I do feel like it's my responsibility to kind of bring this up and raise awareness on what I see and what kind of concerns me. So this midwife, this MLM or midwife, I don't know really about her training. I'm not questioning her training on midwifery, or however you say it, I'm not really sure. I don't know what the criteria is. I've kind of looked a little bit into her stuff. I had her book, I don't know where it went, but from what I've seen, I don't think she has formal training in aromatherapy. She might have gotten eventually her doTERRA essential oil specialist certification, which makes people feel like they've been certified. I've done a whole comparison video on doTERRA versus real certification training. Feel free to check out the link in my description because I'll do the comparison video. But doTERRA does also have their doTERRA University where they educate those on essential oils and essential oil safety, which for me, I find really questionable and shady for legal reasons, just my opinion. But I do feel like it's my responsibility as someone who has studied essential oil safety to bring this up, to give you some food for thought and to encourage you to do research on certain safety points. So when we're using essential oils in pregnancy, please, please, please do not just look at your upline for advice, especially if they're not formally trained in aromatherapy. And the essential oil certification from doTERRA is not real training. Sorry, but not sorry. I'm just kind of saying it like it is. Try to find some reputable sources to really find out what's safe for you in pregnancy, what's not, what's safe for kids, what's not, what's safe if you're taking certain medications, what's not, and so on and so on. Because it's MLM midwife, I've seen her in her books and also online to recommend using certain essential oils and certain blends that I was kind of like concerned about. She's recommending that they be used in pregnancy. So I'll give you some examples. We're gonna start with Digest Zengest. It was recommended for digestive discomfort. This essential oil contains phenyl and anise, essential oils that are not recommended in pregnancy. So for me, even in my training, I was not allowed to use any of those essential oils on people who are pregnant just because it was not considered safe. So I find it interesting that a midwife is telling people to use it, not just say, oh, use it if you want, but like to use it and saying that it's safe. And of course, I could see some possible Young Living reps in watching this and in the comment section saying, well, oh, I use Young Living, so it's safe. This is actually comparable to their Digest blend, so the digestive blend with phenyl and anise. So it's the same story, not something I would recommend in pregnancy in terms of safety. Another one I see being recommended in pregnancy that I'm concerned about is Deep Blue. Young Living's equivalent or almost equivalent would be Panway. These contain at least one essential oil that is not recommended in pregnancy. So we're looking at wintergreen. So I've seen Deep Blue recommended for like pain and discomfort and whatnot. Also sort of personal, but you'll hear this from a lot of aromatherapists. I'm not a fan of using essential oils internally like at all in pregnancy. So that to say, as well as your daily LLV supplements, it does contain essential oils in it. So again, it's something to consider. I would not be taking it, but I see that there are MLM professionals that are encouraging it. So food for thought. I'm not here to tell people what to do, but I'm here to raise awareness. Next, another thing that I am seeing promoted is using Clary Calm. So Clary Calm, the hormonal blend, I've seen it being promoted for use and safe for use in pregnancy. This is not a product that I would be recommending during pregnancy. I'm going to share with you a little story, but first there are some ingredients in that blend that I find concerning to be using in pregnancy. And that includes Vitex, phenyl, right? Phenyl, it's coming up again, and carrot seed. So these essential oils are not recommended in pregnancy. They are in that product. Not only is it a product or an essential oil that you can like dilute, it's already pre-diluted. It seems that it is highly concentrated from what I've seen and when I've used it. I know when I used to use that, like not pregnant, I would still dilute it. I'd probably make, I don't know, would I make like 5 roll-ons with the one roll-on I already had, if not more. I had an incident where I even saw stars and stuff, like it was like stars all around, but I can only see like tunnel vision. And I just realized, okay, this is really strong, like really strong. Also, possibly uncomfortable stories. So if you can't handle lady stuff, you can click off. But when I was going through a really stressful time in my life, university, my lady cycle was way out of whack. Like I would bleed for like 20 some days a month sometime, or per cycle. And by the time I finally was able to see a doctor, I was hoping that he would run tests to see why I was having double periods or just kind of constantly having my lady bleed. And basically he didn't look into it. He's like, take the contraceptive pill. For me, I went because I wanted to see what's going on, what's the root cause, not just to have it masked up by like a pharmaceutical, just be like, okay, I don't know what the problem is, but take this, it'll regulate your period. And this video is not to give my opinion whether or not a person should or shouldn't take birth control or the pill. It's really your choice at the end of the day. But for me, it was something that I was really always uncomfortable with, because I'm not really into like band-aiding health problems and just kind of like covering up the symptoms, but rather looking at the root and seeing what's going on. Anyways, my doctor passed me a prescription for birth control. He knew I was uncomfortable, and I was like, oh, like, I don't know how I feel about this. And I told him that I would take the paper, I would try something for a month or two, and then if it didn't work, I would take the birth control, because for me, like I said, I wasn't really comfortable with the whole pill, especially not knowing what the actual problem was. So I got some products, one of them being Clary Calm, and within days, like boom, everything was normal. And then every month it was like normal, like it should be. And it was just like a miracle product for me. I don't sell doTERRA, so I think I can actually say that, but it was just like, whoa, like it just worked for me. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So I started off using it constantly. And then after I used it like a few times a week, and then one time a week, and then eventually my body was just like fine on its own, until I hit another stressful event in life again. And then it went out of whack. And I've always wondered, like, what's the secret about Clary Calm? Like, what's the secret? Why does it work? As an aromatherapy student, I worked with different case study clients, and I was also a case study client of my own. So I was able to experiment on myself, and I always tried to make different hormonal rollerballs, hormonal recipes to try and figure out how can I help women? How can I help balance myself? And I tried a lot of the ingredients that were already in Clary Calm, but I never was able to nail it. And I was like, what's the special ingredient? And what I believe it really is, and I think it's Vitex. So I ended up buying Vitex essential oil, making blends with it, and boom, it worked. It is a powerhouse. It is a very powerful oil. If it can do that to my body, like, I don't think it's something to mess around with. And just for fun, I'm just gonna be looking up in my safety book. I'll link down below for the safety book if that's what you want, for Vitex, also known as Chast Tree. So you find it as Chast Tree in the book if you're looking, so under the C category. So under the C category, so if you look, you'll see that it is a productive hormone modulator. It's contraindicated for those who are taking progesterone therapy, who are pregnant, who are breastfeeding, children before puberty. So just to give you the idea of how powerful it is, and something I would not mess with in pregnancy, it's something I would not use, especially with Clary Calm, where it's like already diluted, but I think it's highly concentrated. Just a quick another example, I see that, for example, this MLM Midwife says that you can use myrrh in pregnancy. I mean, even looking at this book, I'll read for you just so you guys can kind of see. It says that for myrrh, it's contraindicated, so not recommended during pregnancy, lactation, and it may be fetotoxic due to the beta-alanine and furanodiene content. For those who don't know, both of those chemical constituents, which is contained in myrrh naturally, are antiogenic. So antiogenic means that it does not allow the formation of new blood vessels. So I'm going to read an excerpt from page 155. So during gestation, as tissues grow in the placenta and embryo, new blood vessels form from pre-existing ones by a process known as angiogenesis, which is the forming of new blood vessels. Some essential oils can stop that, or inhibit that. So suppressing angiogenesis may be useful in preventing tumor growth, but if it is suppressed during gestation, so pregnancy, when the baby's forming in your belly, adverse reproductive and developmental consequences are likely to occur, such as preeclampsia, fetal growth restriction, and fetal death. That's kind of dramatic, because I know there are people who might have used myrrh and not had adverse reactions, which I think is sometimes dangerous, because people will say it's worked for me, so you can do it, which, please do your research, is what I'm saying. And I don't like to gatekeep information, so a lot of the safety information, stuff that I've learned at school, a lot of it's found here. So I do have a video talking about this, so feel free to check that out. So in a nutshell, I'm just spreading awareness. Please do your research when you're using essential oils, and yeah, use reputable resources. I just wanted to bring that up and come here and say, just because someone's a professional doesn't mean they've studied in aromatherapy. Okay, so just a quick little public service announcement. I don't think I have that much time left, so if you're wanting to check out this video here where I talk about pregnancy and essential oils, feel free to click here. If not, here's a playlist that you might like. Take care, and bye-bye.